This presentation is made using Debian testing and the simple screen recorder. The presentation's output comes from LibreOffice Impress. This presentation is all about terminology. This presentation describes how the words upstream and downstream are used in a Debian packaging context. The best way to understand this is to think of the natural usage of these words. In other words, think of a river. Imagine that you have a canoe and that you start rowing at the mouth of the river. You row against the current. That is, you row upstream. And you row for hours and hours and a really long time, and your arms get really tired. And finally, you reach the source of the river. Far upstream, a glacier is melting into the river and creating new water. This water is pure, and we are now very close to the source. We are upstream. Let us get back in our canoe and drift downstream for a while. As we land the canoe on a convenient place, we walk inshore for a bit, and here we see some bear scat. This bear scat will be washed into the river with the next major rain. So, downstream, the river becomes less pure. Downstream, the river is less pure, and we are further away from the source. Now let's examine the activities of Debian packages. They start with a tarball from an original author. They modify it to make it suitable for inclusion in a distribution. I mentioned a tarball. What is a tarball? Tar is a program used to archive many files into one file, because one file can more easily be transported. So the output of this program called tar is called a tarball. Now we said that Debian packages modify. How do they modify? They add packaging information describing how the package should be built, and they put that in a special subdirectory called Debian. And they also add patches, which modify the original source in a special subdirectory called Debian patches. Each file in this subdirectory is a separate edit called a patch. Modification. So due to the activities of the packager, the work of the original author becomes increasingly modified. That is, less pure. Due to the packager's edits, the output of packagers is further away from the original source. So, upstream and downstream are directions. Moving in the direction of less edits, that is, less modification, and more purity, is called moving upstream. Moving in the direction of more edits, that is more modification, and less purity, is called moving downstream. Now, we are geeks, and every geek knows that every adjective can be nouned. This process is called noumification. So the adjective upstream can be turned into a noun. We talk about the upstream. The upstream is used as a noun by packagers, is a term of art for the original author of the program. His work, the original tarball, is called the pristine source. But Git is backwards. Output from the git log command shows most recent edits first, that is, at the top of the screen. The more recent edits are on top of previous edits, so they represent more modification, which equals more downstream. So, as visualized by git log, downstream is up, upstream is down. This is true for every Git visualization tool that I am aware of. You just have to remember this. And this is the end of this presentation.